Let me offer you one more example for why having excellent trauma release skills is no longer a luxury for a coach or a practitioner working with clients. One might think that the old model of coaching hasn't been as efficient in helping individuals in personal lives because it didn't address emotions. The original narrative around what coaching is and isn't in the last century was very much based on how coaching differs from therapy in so many ways and how these differences make coaching the more efficient approach. And part of this narrative was that coaching, as opposed to therapy, focuses on finding solutions to problems rather than dwelling on emotions and emotional processing the way therapy does. Luckily, some coaching schools understood that taking emotions out of the equation wasn't going to lead the client very far, and they started to focus on emotional work as a means of ultimately helping the client reach their goals. And I happen to have worked as a professor of coaching in one such school where I would train students in empowerment coaching. However, because the trauma piece was missing, empowerment was still not completely attainable or sustainable in my clients and in my students' clients. Let me explain this a little bit more. The philosophy behind using the map of empowerment as a coaching framework is simple. The map is built of levels of emotions. It's also a hierarchy of sorts, similar to the pyramid of needs. The least empowered emotions, such as shame or guilt, are at the bottom of the map. And the higher up you resonate on the map of empowerment, the more empowered you are and the more your life goes the way you'd like it to go in the most magical ways. From a coaching perspective, you first find out where on the map of empowerment your client resonates when they come to you. Then you choose the most suitable coaching interventions to shift them one level higher up on the map. And finally, continue shifting them higher and higher until they are empowered enough, i.e., resonating high enough on the map to tackle the challenges that they came to you with, because now they operate as their empowered self. But as wonderful as the map is, it wouldn't always work. What I used to find when practicing coaching based on the map of empowerment alone is that even though I or my students proceeded in the right way, the clients didn't leave the sessions quite empowered and happy as one would have liked them to, or they were not able to sustain their happiness or empowerment for too long. This is because there was a hidden force that wouldn't allow the clients to reach the higher levels of empowerment and maintain them. This disguised adversary kept pulling the client back to the bottom of the map, keeping them eternally stuck at the lowest levels of shame, guilt, or apathy. And it's precisely these three bottom levels where I started to recognize trauma, and where I've been consistently finding trauma ever since. I noticed that without resolving the client's trauma, it just wasn't possible to shift them anywhere near the empowered levels on the map of empowerment or sustain their empowerment. At the best, they would have a temporary breakthrough and visit the higher levels of empowerment for a bit. But then the fall from grace was inevitable. That is, without attending to their traumatized system first. It became necessary to first facilitate a deep and long-lasting trauma release in the client. And it was then and only then that they were finally able to break through and become their most empowered, beautiful selves. The bottom line is that any client work has to take into consideration the context of trauma. The times when coaches and other practitioners did their work without trauma-based knowledge and skills are over. To be truly able to help your clients, Powerful trauma release skills need to be part of your client work toolbox. You just can't go without them anymore. It's that last piece of the puzzle behind your coaching belt that will lead your client to true, sustainable empowerment.